The Detroit Lions just surprised everyone with a decision no one expected, and it just exploded among the fans. Veteran Tom Kennedy, a player many didn't imagine would return to prominence, is being touted as one of the most important pieces in the team's rotation, and that's no exaggeration. His performance on returns simply changed the dynamics of the game, and sources within the franchise confirm that this performance reignited internal discussions about immediate adjustments to the special teams unit. But before revealing what change is being considered behind the scenes, it's worth understanding why Kennedy, of all people, has become the most talked about name of the week. And of course, before we get into the full details of this urgent update, leave a like now and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, because that greatly helps our work and ensures you don't miss any hot news like this one shaking up Detroit today. This just happened and is already dominating all conversations. Kennedy, who made his second appearance of the season, simply set the game on fire by turning ordinary returns into decisive plays. He averaged an impressive 40 yards per return, totaling 120 yards on 3 attempts, plus a 21-yard punt return in the first quarter that started a scoring drive. And most surprisingly, all of this happened just days after his promotion from the practice squad to the main roster, a move that initially seemed like just a response to injuries in the receiving corps, but which quickly proved to be much more than that. Kennedy, one of the longest-serving players in Detroit, showed energy, explosiveness, and a field-reading ability that hadn't been seen on the team for weeks. And this new intensity made the coaching staff start thinking big, something that could change how the Lions handle returns from now on. The play that sealed his night happened in the final minutes of the game, when Dallas had just narrowed the deficit to 1 possession and was putting total pressure on Detroit. It was a tense, crucial moment, one of those that define games and perhaps even seasons, and it was precisely there that Kennedy made the most important return of the year, carrying the ball for 42 yards and putting the offense in perfect position to seal the game. 3 plays later, Jahmyr Gibbs crossed the end zone, extending the score to 44-30 and securing the victory. The immediate reaction in the locker room was explosive. Dan Campbell handed the game ball to the veteran and didn't hold back on praise, stating that Kennedy was fundamental, a true turning point that night. And when a coach like Campbell, known for his demanding nature and intensity, highlights someone in this way, it means serious discussions are happening behind the scenes. And this is where the most impactful part of this story comes in. Sources confirm that after this performance, there is a real internal evaluation about giving Kennedy a much larger role than just a punctual returner. The coaching staff is analyzing scenarios where he becomes a permanent fixture in the special teams unit and even gets more opportunities as a receiver, something that seemed unlikely just a few weeks ago. Kennedy explained his success by saying that it all starts with a good block, but the secret is finding the opening, trusting the opponent, and attacking with speed, precisely the kind of aggressive mentality the team wants to recapture. And we can't forget, Kennedy is currently the second longest-serving player on the roster, behind only Taylor Decker, and has now played 26 games for the Lions. Experience, explosiveness, and immediate impact. Now I want to know your opinion. After this performance, does Kennedy deserve a bigger role on the team? Would you give him more snaps as a starting returner or even as a target on offense? Comment below. I really want to know what you think. My opinion, he earned that right on the field, and Detroit needs to take advantage of this moment. Leave your opinion and participate in the discussion.
And it doesn't stop there. The Detroit Lions surprised everyone with an update that completely changed the atmosphere in Detroit, and this has just become the hottest topic among fans. The team is officially targeting the future of the left tackle position, and this decision exposes a critical point that has been discussed behind the scenes for weeks: the real possibility that Taylor Decker is closer to retirement than many imagined. Internal sources already admit that the team is seriously considering a specific name that could redefine the offensive line for years. But before revealing who this player is that is turning Dan Campbell's head, it's important to understand why this move came about and caught so many people by surprise. And of course, before continuing, leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because this greatly helps strengthen our community of fans who live every detail of the Lions. The situation began to explode after new draft simulations gained traction this week, including a projection by Dan Brugler that placed Detroit in an unexpected position, the middle of the first round. This alone makes it clear that experts believe the Lions could miss the playoffs, something unthinkable a few months ago. And this reignited a concern that fans recognized immediately. The offensive line hasn't been the same. Performance in recent weeks has declined, pocket protection has become unstable, and the running game has lost momentum in crucial moments. With Giovanni Manu still showing inconsistency in his early seasons, and Decker approaching 33, the scenario became clear to the front office. The transition needs to start now, not in 2 seasons, if Detroit wants to keep Jared Goff, or whoever becomes the QB of the future, safely protected. It is in this context that Brad Holmes, following a pattern that has become his trademark, is once again targeting the SEC as fertile ground for the next talent. Among several names evaluated, one stood out strongly in internal analyses and earned Brugler's seal of approval in his simulation: Kadyn Proctor, the giant left tackle from the Alabama Crimson Tide. Brugler claims he would be an easy sell in the Lions draft room, jokingly saying that showing Dan Campbell videos of the 163-kilogram athlete receiving short passes and participating in the backfield would be enough to convince anyone. But behind the joke, there's something quite serious. Proctor embodies exactly the characteristics Detroit has sought in recent drafts: absurd strength, quick feet for a player of his size, and an impressive ability to handle any type of pass rusher. He is seen not only as the ideal successor to Decker, but also as someone who can immediately contribute at the guard position should the team need to reorganize the interior of the line. What makes it even more interesting is that Proctor isn't just an athletic prospect. He has already accumulated significant recognition in college football. This year, he was a semi-finalist for the Outland Trophy, an award given to the best offensive or defensive lineman. Although he didn't make it to the final 3-man shortlist, this only reinforces the extremely high level of competition, and the fact that he's among the 7 semi-finalists already says a lot about his impact at Alabama. However, like any prospect, he still has rough edges to smooth out, especially in consistency against the run, where analysts believe he can still evolve to become a complete offensive lineman. But even with this small caveat, the feeling within Detroit is clear. If Proctor is available at pick 17, the debate could last less than a minute. And now, the big question for you, Lions fan. Do you believe Kadyn Proctor should be the team's next big investment to protect the franchise's future? In my opinion, Detroit finally understands that thinking ahead is as important as winning now. And if Decker is really considering retirement, ignoring this move would be a huge mistake. But I want to know your perspective, so comment below what you would do if you were in Brad Holmes' position. And don't forget to like to support the channel.